What's up, everybody? This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to your Week 8 LCC Gameday podcast. I'm your host, Billy. I'm here with my co-host, Eddie.
Hi.
And we are going to be talking to you about this week's matchups. We got a lot of good ones here in store for you. We also had a couple of upsets last week that we're also going to go over. And, of course, we had a very injury-riddled Week 7. It's going to turn the tides a lot in Week 8 this week. So let's go ahead and get rolling to see what happened last week in our matchups. Eddie, over here.
Hey, Billy, you're gonna have to run through these because my computer screen is frozen, so I can't see the graphic. But
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so we have Sandstorm Troopers beat Lost in the Sauce.
I am dog shit.
Tell me something we don't know. No, I'm just messing with you. Roebuck Leprechauns beat Alex and Levitar Lobos. Once a Janitor came away with the win against Afternoon Delights. And next we have the Spurs, which took the win over Jameson. Give me more. Eastside Brawlers, John lost to protect the booty, which was Tyler. Steel Curtain, even though he did not set his lineup, still ended up beating Step Bros. We're going to have to check in with Pat commissioners and the rest of the commissioners. I'm not sure what the rules are going to be on how they're going to take disciplinary action against Cody. Still ended up winning, though.
Well, I don't want to start anything, but isn't that how I joined the league because someone didn't set their lineup 2 weeks in a row?
I'm pretty sure it was 2 weeks in a row. I'm not sure if they're doing 3 weeks now or what the deal is, but I mean, I like Cody and all. He's got to set his lineup, even though he got a win here. I mean, still.
That'd be hilarious if he had disciplinary action taken against him and he won.
All right. Moving on, we have Peanut Butter Cup, who beat Buck Your Mother this past week. Third leg, took the win over Shuttlecocks. In my opinion, a big upset. And Burrow's Body Count took the dub over Billy, Detroit Bad Boys. So Zach's really catching. Yeah, Zach's really catching his stride. It's kind of scary to watch him take over like this. I mean, his team is doing absolutely phenomenal right now. So hats off to Zach. And we have Jiu-Jitsu Jesus taking the win over Mr. 295. Hunter Champions, of course, beating my ass this week. And Guardians of the Gridiron, Peyton, still strong as ever, taking the win over Barnyard, who had a riddled injury happened to him this week, as we're about to get into. Brees Hall, of course. Hate to see it. But we'll get into more of those injuries here in a moment. First, let's go ahead and talk about our LCC Pick'em. Eddie and I both went 8-4 last week.
Good week.
I'm still 3 games behind him. On his toes.
You like those, don't you, Billy?
I'm on your heels, is what I meant to say. But we can't talk about toe fetishes here. It's the internet. All right, here's your injuries. Can you see this screen?
No, it's frozen.
Oh my god! All right. So your injuries. Of course, we talked about Brees Hall out for the season with an ACL tear.
When they immediately signed James Robinson, which I know I just traded James Robinson to Zach, but I'm so excited that James Robinson gets to play football. So excited.
Yeah, that was definitely a big pickup for them. Ryan Tannehill also going to be out questionable next week with a lower leg injury. Will we see Malik Willis in action? I hope so. He's a young talent that's definitely got a lot of potential in this league. Antoine Winfield, doubtful with a concussion. He's in protocol right now. Alan Lazard, shoulder injury, is questionable for Week 8 as well. Amon-Ra St. Brown, also in concussion protocol, questionable for Week 8. Another couple wide receivers that we had big injuries for, Mike Williams, high ankle sprain. He's expected to be out this week. I got DK Metcalf. We all hated to see what happened to him. I mean, carted off the field last week with a patellar tendon injury, so right below his knee. He's expected to be out for a while. They have an indefinite return date for him. And Chuba Hubbard, Carolina running back, expected Deontay Foreman to get the start next week. Hubbard dealing with an injury. I want to say we're going to put him on the back burner, try to get him fresh again, but we may see him limited use this week. So, on to game of the week. You ready, Eddie? Let's do this. All right. Big matchup this week for game of the week. We have Hunter Champions coming off a win this past week, and we also have third leg Charles. He's having a pretty good season. I mean, he's had some ups and downs. Both of these guys are, middle of the pack here this year. But I think this is going to be a big game-changing week for these guys. One of these guys is going to be moving up in their division with a win this week. I feel like this is a pretty even matchup for what we have in store this week. Looking forward to see what these guys have to offer.
Oh yeah, super excited. I'll go ahead and break down the quarterback matchup. I'm going with Jalen Hurts because Hunter Champions has to pick up somebody, and whoever he picks up, looking at the waiver wire, is not going to have the same stat line that Jalen Hurts is going to have against Pittsburgh. So I'm going to go Jalen Hurts in the quarterback matchup. 29. Pittsburgh has the 29th ranked pass defense. Jalen Hurts is going to drop like 60, I feel like.
Yeah, I definitely think he wins the quarterback matchup just because he's, of course, his quarterback, Justin Herbert, is on a bye.
I would have loved to seen that, though, a Jalen Hurts,
Yes,
Justin Herbert matchup.
Definitely. That would have been a great one to watch. All right, moving on to running back, we have Alvin Kamara for the third leg going against Najee Harris for Hunter Champions. So I like both of these guys here. I mean, Alvin Kamara has had a strong comeback the last few weeks. Najee Harris hasn't been exactly what we were hoping for this season. His upside is kind of minimized. His ceiling is lowered. I'm liking his consistency. I just wish we could expect a little more out of him. And going against a Philadelphia defense that was really stout this year, it's going to be tough for Najee Harris to see the potential that he can actually get this week with the matchup he's going to have. And Kamara going against the Raiders, I have to say Kamara is going to take this matchup as well. I like Najee. I just don't expect that much from him this week.
All right. I agree. I like Alvin Kamara in that matchup. He may not be on the third leg by the time the weekend comes, because I know he's shopping Kamara around, but we're gonna assume that he still has Kamara, and I'm gonna roll with him. Wide receiver, third leg's going with Ayuk, with DK Metcalf questionable, most likely not playing. And Hunter of Champions is going with Chris Olave, who has had a really, really good year. He's been like the number one. I think, I'm pretty sure he has more. I mean, obviously he does with Mike. I think even when Thomas wasn't hurt, I think Olave was like averaging more points. going up against a Raiders defense that is not very good. It's a good matchup for Olave. And then Ayuk, let's see, he's going up against the Rams, have a pretty stout secondary. I think I'm going to go Chris Olave there.
I like Chris Olave as well. I think he is actually a really strong candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh, yeah,
Chris
sure.
Olave has been going off this season. Anybody that has him, I know Hunter, great pickup there. Probably going to end up keeping him if I were him, honestly. I like Olave in that matchup. Moving on to defensive line, we have a Hassan Reddick on the third leg. He's been doing pretty solid this year. Of course, he's had his ups and downs, but who hasn't this season? It's been a crazy year so far. Going against Trayvon Walker, defensive end for the Jaguars. I like in this matchup in particular, I really like Trayvon Walker. Now, just because Denver, I know Russell Wilson is their quarterback. They've had a lot of issues with how they're going to approach an offense. We've seen the Denver offense fail time in and time out this year. I think their blocking up front isn't great. They try to run it outside. It's not working. I think he's going to rack up a lot of tackles, possibly even a sack on Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson is garbage this year. We have to be honest. Even though Hassan Reddick is playing Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett hasn't done the greatest in the world. He's throwing 3 picks in each game. Is it, Eddie?
Yeah, back-to-back games with 3 picks.
It is telling me he's at least getting the ball out. So I don't see Hassan Reddick getting that many sacks.
I don't think he's gotten sacked yet, which is funny.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm taking Trayvon Walker in this one, even though I like Hassan Reddick as a player.
Yeah, I'm going Trayvon Walker as well. Linebacker, third leg, going with Leighton Vander Esch. I don't know how to pronounce my name. Versus Devondre.
Oh my god!
I hope somebody out there.
I should have made that his sound drop.
Yeah.
I should have made that his sound drop.
Trayvon Diggs, hide your kids.
I can't pronounce my name.
In 100 Champions has Devondre Campbell. Again, with trade deadline approaching, a lot of these players may get traded. I'm not sure. It's only Tuesday when we're recording this, but I got to go Devondre Campbell in this matchup.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't like LVE.
Campbell, his upside is so much higher. I like. Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, I'll take Devondre Campbell. Chicago's offense, I guess it could be a good opportunity. I don't know. I'm gonna take Devondre Campbell. That's a tough one. I'll throw that one up in the air. At defensive back, we have, starting for the third leg, Richie Grant, who's been doing pretty good this year. Pretty consistent. Going against Carolina this coming week, there's no telling what's going to happen on the Panther side of the ball. I don't know what to expect after what happened last week. I love the fact that the Panthers did great. I just don't know what to expect this coming week. And on the other side of the ball, we have Rashawn Jenkins, who's also been pretty consistent going against a Denver offense. I honestly like Richie Grant in this one, just because I think the Panthers, it's very interestingly, have a better offense than the Broncos. I think the Panthers offense is going to be on the field more often than the Broncos offense. Therefore, we will see more tackles.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm going to lean Rashawn Jenkins. I just don't like safeties playing against Carolina. Like last week, I didn't like my safety, Mike Edwards for the Bucs, played Carolina and had a subpar game. I was worried about that going into it, so I'm going to stick to my gut this time and not go with Richard Grant. I'm going to go with Rayshon Jenkins. And at so flex, we got Andre Cisco for the third leg, safety for Jacksonville. Hunter of Champions is going with linebacker David Long from Tennessee. Back-to-back big old games for David Long.
Yeah, back-to-back long games.
Yeah, just like my cock. And then Andre Cisco has had back-to-back pretty good games as well. God, let's look at these matchups here. Ooh, Andre Cisco is playing against Denver. Don't like that. I'm going to go David Long.
Yep, I agree on that one. I like David Long because of his ability to not only, of course, he's a pass rushing linebacker. He's not one of your typical coverage linebackers.
Right.
Yeah. Good job, man. I got to drink a Red Bull or something. I like his ability to rush the ball and also stop the run. Rush the quarterback, and also stop the run. With him being one of those guys that is going to be able to stuff the middle of the field, it's also going to be able to stuff the outside. I think he has a higher upside potential for tackles and also sacks as a linebacker, which is huge in scoring. So I like David Long in this one. All in all, I'd say it's pretty evenly matched up, even though that Hunter Champion's quarterback is on bye, because his defense is so good. He has such a high upside potential on defense. I think third leg has more of your consistent team. I would say less of a high scoring team, high scoring ability. The only thing that throws me off with Hunter Champions, of course, is his quarterback situation. I would say, based on defense, Hunter Champions takes this one in a slight margin. If Jalen Hurts goes off, though, I don't know if he has enough to withstand. Who do you think's going to take this one, Eddie?
I think I'm going back and forth as I've been thinking about this. I think I'm gonna go third leg. Golly, I think third leg's offense is gonna, because I know we both like Olave, but I don't think Olave, like, I think Brandon Ayuk won't be far behind, but what I do know is that Kamara will have a lot more than Najee, and that Jalen Hurts will have a lot more than whatever quarterback Hunter of Champions has, and I think that's just too much, because I don't Hunter of Champions defense, like you said, has the big game potential, but if it doesn't show up, I think third leg wins big. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with third leg.
Yeah, but what if Hunter Champions gets Andy Dalton and he puts up 52?
It would happen, and then I would be wrong. So who'd you pick?
I'm gonna take Hunter Champions.
All right. We finally don't agree on a game of the week.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting for sure. Stay tuned to see what happens. All right. Are you ready for the rest of the matchups? Damn. Am I boring you that bad?
What?
Am I boring you that bad?
No, it's just 11:30.
All right.
If I could go back in time to when I texted
you. All right. Week 8 matchups on the way.
Hey Billy, just a reminder, my screen's frozen, so if you want me to break down this one, you gotta tell me what matchup it is.
Nah, you're good, man. I better find a new graphic because Christian McCaffrey is on this one with a Panthers jersey on. Rest in peace. All right. You're going to have to break down the first one.
Okay, what is it?
It's mine.
Oh. All right, we got Beg for G-Reg versus Peanut Butter Cup, the last year's two strongest teams in the league. This year, on paper, they should be the two strongest, but they're not. Beg for G-Reg is going with Josh Allen. He's finally got him back. I'm sure, BP, you're very happy about that. Peanut
Yes.
Butter Cup's got Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's playing on a Thursday, but he's also playing a very depleted Tampa Bay secondary. And then Josh Allen is playing in prime time. I'm going to slightly lean Josh Allen. Golly, fuck, but that fuck. Damn it. I'm gonna lean Lamar Jackson. I don't care that he's playing on Thursday. That Tampa Bay secondary is hurting. I'm going Lamar Jackson.
Mm.
Running back. I'm gonna lean fuck me harder. I'm gonna stick with the hot hand. I'm gonna go with Saquon. He's been hot. Wide receiver, I'm gonna go Devontae Adams. I think Peanut Butter Cup should start. He's gonna start Cooper Cup. So,
Yep.
I changed my mind. I'm gonna go with Cooper Cup. Golly, Billy, I made Queen sweep you.
You're gonna queen sweep me?
Yep. At defensive line, BP's got Aaron Donald going up against San Fran, and Peanut Butter Cup's got Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett has been very up and down. I like Aaron Donald's matchup, and I'm taking Aaron Donald right after I said I was going to queen sweep you. BP at linebackers got Bobby Okereke versus Forsythe Aluakon. Golly, I like Aluakon's. No, I don't. I do not like Aluakon's matchup. I'm going Okereke. I like Okereke's matchup a little better.
My boy
Safety.
been balling out too. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Mm-hmm. At safety, I got BP's got Eddie Jackson. Peanut Butter Cup's going with Cameron Curl. Cameron Curl's got a potentially good matchup. Again, I know Billy likes when safeties are going up against inexperienced quarterbacks. I know Billy likes that because of the turnover potential. I just think that it's too inconsistent for big point scoring. So I don't like Cameron Curl against Indiana. However, I do like Eddie Jackson at Dallas. I think that's a really good matchup. So I'm going to go Eddie Jackson. Then at flex, BP's going with Buddha. I know BP's been having a tough time with Buddha. He's really pissed off at him. But, this year, even though Buddha has been struggling, it looks like he will probably give you 25 plus. And I think that's enough to keep up with Kyle Duggar. So I'm going to go Buddha Baker. So with all that being said, I'm slightly leaning Peanut Butter Cup on offense in every position. And on defense, I'm taking BP slightly. And since there are 4 defensive positions with in this matchup, I am going to go with Billy by like 15.
Jesus.
And it's crazy that I'm saying I'm choosing Peanut Butter Cup's offense because BP, your offense was supposed to be your strong suit.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Until JT started shitting the bed and then continuously shat the bed. And so bad now that it just stinks and I don't want to lay in it anymore. That was a bad analogy. Anyways.
Making 2 girls, 1 cup vibes.
Dear God. Throwback. It's really tough for me to decide. Of course, I'm playing, so I don't like to choose my own team. I like Peanut Butter Cup's matchups this week, and solely because all of his matchups are pretty favorable. I'll take his team because my team has been up and down so much recently. I'm trying to find some consistency somewhere. I'll take Peanut Butter Cup over myself.
All right.
All right. So, next we have Eddie's team, Lost in the Sloth, versus John Nugent, Eastside Brawlers. So, at quarterback, Eddie's rocking Kenny Pickett. He's coming off of a turnover-ridden couple games, although done pretty good in fantasy. I wouldn't say he's a bad fantasy quarterback. I'm just not sure how long the Steelers are going to roll with him. But for this week against the Philadelphia defense, he's going to be put to the test. That's going to be tough. Jared Goff going against Miami. Jared Goff has a lot to prove as well. I would say, dude, I don't know. Both of these defenses are pretty good. from upside, from what I've seen this year so far, what I know can happen with Jared Goff, I've seen him put up 57. It was against Seattle, nevertheless. I've also seen him put up 41 this year against Washington. Kenny Pickett, I don't know how high he can put up numbers. I gotta take Jared Goff in that one. Michael Carter, Kenneth Walker. Amon-Ra St. Brown for East Side going against Tyreek Hill. I like Tyreek Hill in that one. Going against the depleted Detroit defense. Defensive line, we have Grady Jarrett going against Alex Highsmith. Alex Highsmith has been pretty hot this year. Had one bad game. Well, last week he dropped a goose egg. What? All right. Well, that kind of makes me second guess things. Yeah, I'll take Grady Jarrett in that matchup. I like his consistency. At linebacker, we have C.J. Mosley for East Side versus Cole Holcomb. Matchup wise, I like both of these guys. They both have a very good chance to get a lot of high quantity of tackles. Both going against run heavy offenses. I like C.J. Mosley in this one especially. The Patriots seem to never throw the ball sometimes. So I'm liking C.J. Mosley in that matchup. Holcomb's going to be pretty good too, though. At defensive back, we have Mike Edwards going against Tariq Woolen. I like Mike Edwards in that one. And for East Side, his safety, his flex, is out at the moment. Jalen Hawkins. I want to assume he's going to start maybe Brian Burns, maybe Javon Holland. I'm not sure who he's going to end up starting at flex this week. Possibly even Khalil Herbert. Who knows? But with that being said, we don't know who his flex is. Going against Jaron Curse. I like Jaron Curse upside potential. We just haven't seen a whole lot from him so far this year because he's been hurt. I do know he's going against a run-heavy Chicago offense. So as long as he can figure out where Justin Fields, where he's going with the ball whenever he escapes out of the pocket, has a lot of chance to get some good tackles, maybe in a forced fumble if he is not careful with the ball. So I like Jaron Curse in that matchup. With that being said, I like overall. I'll take Eddie. 4-3 my matchups. What you think, man?
I just saw a tweet come through about Kenny Pickett, and it says it's a positive tweet, and I'm gonna take that as a sign that he's gonna go the fuck off. And I'm taking myself, and you heard it here first. I'm tanking this week. I'm trying to get some draft capital for next year. However, even with that being said, I will win 6 straight. Actually, we'll be modest. I will win 5 of the next 6, and I will finish the season at 7-6, and I will make the playoffs as a 6th seed, and I will lose in the first round. But it'll be fun.
All right. On to the next. Eddie, you're up.
Which is
Detroit Bad Boys versus Guardians of the Gridiron.
All right. DBB at quarterbacks going with Mr. Zachary Wilson. Guardians of the Gridiron has Captain Kirk. I'm going Captain Kirk. At running back, Detroit Bad Boys needs to throw Melvin Gordon in there. That's not good. The Guardians of the Gridiron has Aaron Jones back. Has Aaron Jones. I'm going Aaron Jones. At wide receiver, Detroit Bad Boys has Amari Cooper. And I'm so glad Amari Cooper only had 15 last week because he was trying to.
Words.
I was trying to trade him for Amari Cooper, and he was trying to sell him way too high on me, and I thought it was bullshit. So I'm glad that he's not producing. Guardians of Gridiron has Stephon Diggs off a bye. I'm going Stephon Diggs. At defensive line, Guardians of Gridiron has Nick Bosa. He's been pretty good against Carolina. Golly, he's just been up and down, but he's got such a good big game potential going against Deron Payne, who's been pretty average. I'm going to go Nick Bosa on the big game potential. At linebacker, Guardians of Gridiron is actually starting Divine Diablo. He has been okay. He's averaging around 30. He's got a good matchup against the Saints. Going up against Detroit Bad Boys, who's starting Mr. Devin Bushy Bush, who's been not great. I'm going to go Divine. At safety, we have Kevin Bayard for Guardians of Gridiron. Detroit Bad Boys has Xavier McKinney. Obviously, I'm going Kevin Bayard. At flex, we have Jonathan Owens for Guardians of Gridiron versus Patrick Queen. Obviously, I'm going Jonathan Owens. This is a no-brainer. Peyton stays hot. He's 7-1 after this week.
Yeah, that was a clean sweep, wasn't it?
Yep.
God, Peyton, why's your team so good this year?
His team is great.
I do not have a shot at the division.
Yeah.
Unless he somehow loses and I come back and beat him the second time around this year.
Right.
Yep. I got Peyton. All right, moving on to the next matchup. We got the Barnyard versus Jiu-Jitsu Jesus. Barnyard's got some quarterback trouble if Tannehill doesn't play. Oh, boy. Shit. Kick me in the teeth. Barnyard's got some trouble if Tannehill doesn't play. Going against Jacoby Brissett for Jiu-Jitsu Jesus. Honestly, Barnyard's going to have a tough week. He's got Tannehill injured, Breece Hall injured. He does have Ramondre Stevenson, so he's not hurting too bad at running back. But now he has to fill in a flex on top of Derwin James being on a bye.
He has Devin Singletary.
Oh boy. I feel for him.
So
I really feel for him.
So the crazy part is
he's going to have to make an IR move, and he's going to have to pick up a defensive back.
He's going to have to pick up a defensive back, and then he's probably going to go with Bobby Wagner with his flex, who has not been playing great.
All right. Tough week for Barnyard. And Jiu-Jitsu Jesus coming off a win this week. So, with that being said, Jacoby Brissett over Tannehill. Running back, I'll take Ramondre Stevenson over Kareem Hunt. I like Ramondre Stevenson. He's looked really good this year. It's a blessing that he has Ramondre Stevenson since Breece Hall got hurt. I mean, that's not a bad fill-in at all. I mean, I'd say he's pretty close to top 5 running back this year. I mean, the scoring's great. Wide receiver, I take CD Lamb, especially with Dak being back. Looking at a lot more targets here. We have at wide receiver for Jiu-Jitsu, we got Curtis Samuel. Yeah, I take CD Lamb in that one. For defensive line, Trey Hendrickson, who is listed as questionable, just dealing with a stinger. So I'm sure he's going to be back this week. Going against Grover Stewart, who's actually done really well this year. Well, I say really well. Pretty consistent. Going against Washington, though, I'll definitely take Grover Stewart in that matchup. Linebacker for Barnyard, we have Quay Walker. He's been very up and down. Looks like his floor is actually pretty low. Going against Alex Singleton, who we also know his floor can be low as well, but his ceiling is tremendously high. Week 6 put up 83. based on upside potential, and going against a Jacksonville offense who tends to spread the ball out pretty good, Alex Singleton's going to be pretty busy. I'll take Alex Singleton in that matchup. Defensive back, we have right now Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for Jiu-Jitsu Jesus going against who knows for Barnyard. So honestly, playing the waivers, going against Chauncey Gardner, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, Chauncey's been pretty good. Obviously, 2 picks in the last game. I like Chauncey Gardner Jr. there. And then for flex, like you said, probably going to do Bobby Wagner at flex. Dude, shoot me. I keep yawning. Bobby Wagner at flex going against Jonathan Abram. I'll take Bobby Wagner in that one. So, I would say for the most part, it's pretty even. But Barnard's losing a lot this week. With that being said, I like Jiu-Jitsu Jesus taking this one.
Yeah, man. I think I'm gonna lean Jiu-Jitsu Jesus as well. I think he gets back-to-back dubs.
Yeah, I'd say so as well. I definitely think he has the upper hand with all the injuries and
I just think
the
the size and the injuries for Barnyard are just gonna be too much, especially with having to stream a safety. There's not many good ones left.
yeah, I agree.
All right, so I'm gonna try some. What's the next matchup?
Buck your mother shuttlecocks.
Okay, I'm gonna try something a little different. See if the viewers, if you want to comment, if you like this or not. I'm just gonna try to like just kind of talk about the matchup instead of just like breaking down each one like that. I'm just gonna kind of talk about some of the matchups that I think are interesting, and then I'll give you my prediction. So Buck your mother is gonna have to stream a quarterback. He's got Matt Ryan out, so I don't know who he's going to put in there. Also, he usually flexes L'Jarius Sneed, but Billy, didn't he say no immediately to you?
Yeah, he didn't want Buddha.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
So, yeah, he can't start L'Jarius Sneed, so he's looking like he's going to flex Levante David, it looks like. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Buck Your Mother's matchups this week. A.J. Dillon at Buffalo, not great. Levante David at Baltimore, I think that offense is too dynamic for him to get a lot of tackles. On the other side, Shuttlecox looks like he is ready to rock. The only one thing I don't like is Shuttlecox has a running back and a tight end playing on Thursday night. Offensive players, for whatever fucking reason, don't play well on Thursday nights. He's got Dak Prescott, who's fully healthy, going against Chicago. Cameron Hayward at defensive line. Jalen Thompson at safety, who seems to be the new Buddha. He seems to be the guy. Like, he's averaging 34, a little bit higher than Buddha back there in the secondary. And he's also got Josh Johnson and his flex, who's kind of been up and down, but in primetime matchup against Cincinnati, I think primetime matchups work well for fantasy players. I think I got Shuttlecox, and it's not even close, I don't think.
Rock out with the cock out, baby. Shuttlecocks.
Sweet.
All right, I kind of like how that flew a little bit. Flew. I don't know what I'm supposed to say here. I like the flow of that a little better than what we've been doing. It's a little different. So I'm going to rock with that one a couple times, and we'll see how it goes. So as far as matchups go for Burrow's body count versus Mr. 295, I would definitely say that Zach is on a roll. Now, we know we talked about this earlier in the podcast, how he is definitely coming on strong now. His record's picking up. He's more in contention for the division. It's kind of scared me. Zach's team's really scared me. With that being said, I mean, we got buys on 295 for Austin Eckler, which is going to be a tough one to eat. And Burrow's body count also has a trade coming in for James Robinson at running back. So I think that's actually going to put his team over the edge and help him get the win this week over 295, in my opinion. I like some of Mr. 295's matchups. However, I mean, he's got
Dude, when the defensive back you're starting is Trayvon Diggs, and that's like your best option, that's not great.
yeah.
I don't. Do you think why doesn't he have Harrison Smith starting? I bet he'll end up putting him in because he was on bye last week.
I want to know if uh, was he on bye last week? Okay, yeah, he probably just hasn't set his lineup then.
Yeah.
So we assume Harrison Smith starting, and Harrison Smith does have a good matchup against Arizona. So I do like Harrison Smith. I mean, if I had to compare him to Kenny Moore or yeah, I'd have to compare him to Kenny Moore. I like Harrison Smith over Kenny Moore. I mean, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I also think he should start Gabriel Davis over T. Higgins.
yeah, I agree there as well. I just think Zach's firepower at quarterback, wide receiver, the stack that he has going on, it's going to be rough to handle. I mean, I don't know if you can beat that with anybody, unless I had Stephon Diggs.
Fair enough. So you can roll with Zach.
Yeah, I definitely got Zach in this one.
I think there's a lineup that 295 could put together. I think there's a lineup he could put together where he competes with Zach this week. But again,
If Eckler wasn't on bye.
Yes, and if Eckler wasn't on bye, because like he's Brian Robinson's, he's the starter now, but he hasn't proven that he can have Brian Robinson hasn't proven that he can dominate an offense and get a bunch of carries. So I'm gonna go BBC. Just not a great week for 295. All right, what's the next one, son?
Give me more Roebuck.
Ooh, this is a really good one.
Yes, it is.
Really good matchup. Give me more at the top of his division. Roebuck at the top of his, I believe. Yep. But they're both 4-3, so they're not dominating. This is a huge game, especially because with their record, the team that loses potentially it drops out of first place in their division. This was a good it's a good choice for game of the week as well. But I wanted to show some love to the teams we chose. So, oh god, I'm on the wrong week 8. Let's see. So some matchups that I want to pay close attention to. We got the running back matchup. So we got Gimme Moore's going. I got Miles Sanders, who's going up against a pretty average Pittsburgh rush defense, the Roebuck Leprechauns. Excuse me, he's got the rookie Dameon Pierce, who just has been going the fuck off. Dameon Pierce has forced Pat to bench Joe Mixon, which is awesome. And so I'm actually leaning Dameon Pierce in that matchup over Miles Sanders. Let's see. Gimme Moore's got Kyler Murray going up against Minnesota. Kyler Murray's starting to figure it out as far as no.
It's DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
It's DeAndre Hopkins is helping Kyler Murray so much.
Yeah. I mean, and Tua. It's tough. I like Tua's matchup a little better, so I'm going to go Tua. I'm going to lean Tua there. Also, do you see that he has Micah Parsons at defensive end? That's a cheat code.
That is a cheat code.
Yeah, because I was looking at the depth chart because I was like, really, we can do that? And he plays out there in that sub linebacker, he plays on the line. I think it was last week he was standing up, but he was on the line of scrimmage for 75% of the snaps. I was like, damn, dude, that is a cheat code to have Micah Parsons defensive end. I think I'm gonna go Roebuck here just because I love his defense so much. I love Jordan Brooks' matchup against Giants. They're gonna run the ball a lot. I like Minka versus Philadelphia. I think he'll rack up some tackles, and then Jalen Petrie just having a pretty good year as a rookie. So I'm gonna go Pat just because of his defense.
Yeah, I mean, I like that pick. Yeah, both teams have question marks on offense. I mean, they have wide receivers that are very limited on what they've been producing this year. I mean, I'd say Cortland Sutton has a little bit of an edge just because he's named wide receiver 1. But as far as the rest of the matchups, I mean, Pat's defense is strong. That addition with Michael Parsons is going to push him over the edge, man. I love Jameson's defense. I love Pete Werner, Michael Walker, Jordan Poyer. All 3 of those guys are studs. I think Jameson does not have a bad team by any means. With Pat's new addition and his minor strengths in offense, I think it's gonna be too much for Jameson's team to handle. So I gotta go Pat.
Nice.
All in on Roebuck. All right. Next we have the Spurs. Cam Nugent against Jordan and Afternoon Delight.
Of fucking course, Cam gets Afternoon Delight when fucking Patrick Mahomes is on a bye. Of fucking course he does.
Tell us how you really feel. All right, so Jordan has to go pick up a quarterback this week. Who he's going to get, no one knows. With that being said, Trevor Lawrence is probably going to have to take my pick at quarterback. I like some matchups that Afternoon Delights has this week, especially DJ Moore going against DJ Moore going against Atlanta. Carolina's offense finally showed some life in, I'd say, like the first time all season, really. I mean, it was really fun. Of course, me and the boys went to that game last week. So seeing DJ Moore finally become active, I think DJ Moore is actually going to be the game changer this week. If DJ Moore can light it up this week like he did last week, make a presence, it's going to give Afternoon Delights some hope on his offense. I also like the matchup sorry, I lost my train of thought. I also like the matchup for Devin Lloyd against Denver. Like I was saying, Denver's kind of clueless on where their offense is going. I don't think they have a very good game plan on offense. So as far as where Devin Lloyd is going to be positioned to make these tackles, it's going to be probably intermediate stuff like your slant routes, your inside zone runs, that kind of thing. Very basic offense. What it seems like Denver's been doing. Very predictable. The quarterback situation, man, it's tough to say. Cam's team's pretty good this year. I mean, he's throwing together a really good team. All of his pieces are pretty good. I mean, 1-2, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. McCaffrey is probably going to be in he's going to be in a really, really competitive role this week, especially with Debo being questionable going into week 8. Oh, God, McCaffrey has a big upside potential this week. I got to take Cam. Got to take Cam in this one.
Yeah, I'm taking Cam. I'm taking Cam as well. I just think Patrick Mahomes' bye is way too crucial for Jordan. Jordan's kind of riding Patrick right now, riding him hard. He's fucking.
I'm going to text Pat and say, is Jordan riding you?
He's riding Pat hard, dude. He's riding him.
That's hot.
So I'm gonna go Cam as well. All
right. Moving on. Step Bros Fantasy Company versus Sandstorm Troopers.
Yeah. Sandstorm Troopers coming off a win against me. Sandstorm Troopers is very confusing to me because he's got a couple good pieces. Like, I really, really like Matt Judon. Homeboy had all 41 of his points in the second quarter. Just fucking went off. Devin White has not been great this year, but he's always capable of 50s. That's what I'm saying. Like, his team is so weird. Christian Kirksey hovers around 30. You got Tom Brady, who has put up a 22 and a 20 this year, but has also had a streak of 50, then 44. So his team is just very hard to get behind, And at running back, he's got Dontrell Hilliard, who's been god awful. On the other hand, Step Rose has got David Montgomery at running back, who's been pretty consistent. Yikes, no, he hasn't. Wow, he's been very underwhelming. Christian Kirk at wide receiver. He looks like he's been like the number one guy in Jacksonville. He's flexing Deebo Samuel currently, but we don't know if he's going to be playing or not. He's got Max Crosby on the line. So both of these defensive ends are studs. Max Crosby is like my favorite defensive lineman in fantasy right now. Not a fan of Stepbro's safety situation. He's starting Kyler Gordon. Then at linebacker, he's starting Shaq Thompson. Like I said, not a big Shaq Thompson fan.
Kyler Gordon's not bad, though.
Yeah, Kyler Gordon. He's all right. Kylie, like this matchup is so frustrating. I think I'm gonna lean Sandstorm Troopers. Golly, but I don't know, man, because Michael Pittman at wide receiver, I don't know how I feel about that with Sam Ehlinger starting at quarterback. Don't know what we're going to see from him. You know what? Screw it. I'm going fantasy Step Rose in the upset.
Fantasy Step Rose. All right, fantasy Step Bros. He's your fantasy Step Bro.
You didn't have to like make that sexual noise, but
I didn't make that sexual noise. You interpreted it like that. Well, I think I'm gonna have to go with Sandstorm Troopers in this one. I think his upside is gonna be a lot higher than what Step Bros is. I mean, Step Bro has Debo and Max Crosby. Other than that, I don't see anybody putting up big numbers. Like, I'd see like 30s is a big number. But, I mean, if you go look at Sandstorm Troopers lineup, you got Tom Brady, Michael Pittman, Matt Judon, Devin White, Jordan Whitehead. All five of those guys I just named can put up 50. So, yeah, I got to take Sandstorm Troopers in that one. All right, moving on to Levitard Lobos versus Once a Janitor. So, with this one, Once a Janitor's got a bye for Drew Tranquil, his linebacker. Filling in for Drew Tranquil, we'll have Jayon Brown, who's been out. He's been out for a while. So, with that being said, Once a Janitor is going to have to find a linebacker to put in his lineup this week. He is going against Alex, whose linebacker is Jermaine Pratt. We've seen him on waivers for a while now. Came back down to earth this past week. As far as matchups go, I mean, honestly, this one's pretty even. I would say so far, going all the way down the line, I'm looking at Justin Fields, Daniel Jones. That's even, in my opinion. I said Justin Fields might have a slight edge because of his running potential, but Daniel Jones has been going off running the ball as well. I mean, last game, Daniel Jones rushed for how many yards was it? He ran for over 100 yards, didn't he? Yes. Daniel Jones rushes for over 100 yards in week 7. Yeah, so they both have rushing potential. I mean, honestly, I don't think any game gets as close as this one does. Because, I mean, when you go look at it, linebacker Drew Tranquil is on bye, but then Brandon Jones, safety for Lebitard, is on IR. So he's also going to have to find a replacement. I'd say the game changer for this one is going to be, it's going to make a huge difference, is whether or not Taysom Hill goes off. It's going to be up to wide receiver. So Jacoby Myers, as we've seen in week 5, can put up 41. Taysom Hill, who we've seen is obviously an athlete, a playmaker, can put up 56. I got to see what Taysom Hill does versus Jacoby Myers. That's going to be your biggest game changers right there to determine this matchup. I would say, based on what the matchups are, I'm going to take Once a Janitor in this one because I like Daniel Jones' matchup. Also like Taysom Hill's matchup. And Anthony Brown's been pretty solid.
Man.
To start the year. So
Yeah, man. I didn't think you were going to pick Once a Janitor, but I'm going Once a Janitor as well. I don't know if that would be considered an upset, really, but I'm going Once a Janitor.
I don't think I've seen a more even matchup all year than this one. So this one's going to be really tough to decide. But yeah, I'm taking Once a Janitor.
All right, last one of the night. I'm going to be breaking down Steel Curtain versus Protect the Booty. Quarterback matchup. Got Aaron Rodgers, who this year has been Mr. 30. Let me tell you. He's actually averaging 27, a little less than 30. Going up against Derek Carr. Derek Carr's got a good matchup against the Saints. Aaron Rodgers going up against Buffalo, but hey, maybe the big game spurs him on. I'm going to go with one of the GOATs. So I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers. You there? Steel Curtain he's got Travis Etienne in, and Travis Etienne's finally like getting all the carries, and now that James Robinson's gone, he's only going to continue to play better. I would still consider Cody flexing Josh Jacobs. I really would. Homeboy has gone 60, 57, 61 his last 3 games. So you either flex him or you start him at running back and bench Travis Etienne. That's your only option. And just like, and then just like bench Malcolm Rodriguez and flex Josh Jacobs. If you do that, I don't see Cody losing this game, especially if Michael Thomas comes back. He's questionable right now. My only concern is if Michael Thomas doesn't come back, he's going to forget to set his lineup, and he's going to lose because of that. So I really hope Michael Thomas plays. As far as Protect the Booty's team, he's got DeAndre Hopkins. That's big time. He's having to start Kenyon Drake at running back. I guess it's because Darrell Henderson was on bye. I think he'll probably start Darrell Henderson, but even so, I don't like Darrell Henderson, more than I like Etienne or Josh Jacobs. I just like Steel Curtain's teams better. Zaire Franklin, Protect Booty's linebacker, he's been up and down versus Roquan Smith from Steel Curtain. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to go Steel Curtain. I'm just gonna bank on the fact that he sets his lineup and go Steel Curtain.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, if he puts Josh Jacobs in his lineup, there's no way he loses.
I agree.
But if he doesn't, it could be a really dumb move on his part, and it could end very badly. I mean,
I agree.
Not only will he lose this week if he does not put Josh Jacobs on his lineup, I guess you would consider that he set his lineup because he has a full roster right now, but if Michael Thomas doesn't play.
Well, the crazy thing is, Billy, he's in playoff contention right now. And I say that to say that his roster is good. He's just like not paying attention much this year for whatever reason. He might have stuff going on in his life, which is fine. But that, like, if he starts like zoning in, like I know he can, he could be a force as a wild card.
Yeah, man, I'm taking Cody.
All right, I think that wraps her up, huh? just like I did with my penis as I stuck it inside your mother.
Damn.
Luckily, no one listens this far to hear that joke.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're in the league and you heard that comment about me sexing up Miss Powell, let me know in Discord.
We'll see how many people respond to that. Nobody likes your jokes anyway. All right, guys.
Mm.
All right, guys. We will catch you next week. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace out.